Hello, Bronco fans and football fans everywhere. Welcome to Broncos Breakdown on the MHRT Network. This is a show that is everything Broncos and brought to you with emotion, passion, honesty, and of course, your comments in the chat as well as mine. I am your host, Bronco Bill. All right, guys, let's get right into it. Thank you so much, each and every one of you, all across the different networks, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or X, I guess they call it, and Twitch, I think, or TikTok. Anyways, thank you guys so much for joining in on a Friday. I know you guys are busy doing what you want to do for the weekend, getting ready, barbecuing wherever you are, maybe grilling, going out to dinner, whatever it is, guys. I really do appreciate the fact you take your time to, sit back and watch this crazy guy talk about Denver Broncos and sports in general. Got a whole different topics to go through. So you guys, let's get right into it. Okay. Now, if you notice right below my name, it says, what if the Broncos drafted Allen and not Chubb? Well, the topic of the show is, should Josh Allen be a Denver Bronco? Well, we're getting into that, but not right out of the gate. Okay. Right out of the gate involves a former Denver Bronco wide receiver going, to Josh Allen's team, the Buffalo Bills. Here it is. Last Saturday, before the Bills were eliminated by, a missed, you got it, wide right field goal. Man, I watched that game, and that one hurt. I really wanted the Detroit Lions and the Buffalo Bills to make it to the Super Bowl. I really did. And the reason why I did is somebody would have to win the Super Bowl for the very first time. And I was hoping it would be Buffalo Bills. Why? Not because I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, because that's not true. It's because Buffalo had gone to Super Bowl 4 straight years and never made it. And the reason why they didn't make it the first time was what happened against the Chiefs this past Saturday. Wide right. How crazy is that? That in 2 critical games, one's a Super Bowl against the Giants, and one is a game that would have probably sent to overtime, and Buffalo missed both of them wide right. But I really wanted Detroit and Buffalo in the Super Bowl. I really did, because that would have been a fantastic. Somebody would have won it for the first time. It would have been amazing. All right, I continue. Buffalo made a move to sign former Broncos wide receiver KJ Hamler. Hamler has had a series of injuries that have kept him off the field. However, the Bills feel he could hopefully stay on the field this coming 2024 season. I was going to say I miss KJ Hamler, but I guess I miss seeing him on the field more than I missed him anywhere else. KJ Hamler, I liked him. I really, really liked him. But I'll tell you what, when it comes to staying on the field, being healthy and that, he just couldn't seem to do it. And some players just are injury prone. Some players are not. I mean, look at Tom Brady. The guy hardly missed anything, and he was playing into his 40s. So it all depends on your body, your structure, your healing, the way you heal, that kind of thing. But I wish all the best for KJ Hamler. But he's going to have a chance in Buffalo. I just don't know how well he's going to be able to stay on the field. And, obviously they signed him. I think they signed him to a futures contract, which means he's primarily just going to be on the practice squad. But hey, you never know. You never, ever know. And congrats to KJ Hamler. He keeps his career going. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully he can stay on the field and be productive for Buffalo. Thank goodness we don't have to play the Bills this coming year. I'd hate to have KJ Hamler light us up like a Roman candle. Kamani Dixon in the house. No, I'm not a Chargers fan. Kamani, you know that. Kamani says, you a Chargers fan? Hey, Bill. No, I'm not a Chargers fan. And we will get into me talking about what transpired this past week regarding that particular team. And this guy is not happy at all. You guys probably wondering why I'm wearing an Avalanche hat. It's because the Avalanche played tonight before they go on a 9-day hiatus. Not a hiatus. I mean, the All-Star break is right around the corner, first week in February. And, the Avalanche, I was talking to a former, not former, a coworker of mine who's a very, very avid Carolina Hurricanes fan. She knows hockey like nobody's business. I mean, this girl's, a student of it, and she's in her, early 20s. But anyways, she was telling me, I was asking her, I said, why are they going on such a long break? I thought the All-Star break was only like a week or so. And she said, what happens is every year, and I didn't realize this, but every year, every team has a stretch of where they have like 5 or 6 days off throughout the year to kind of like rejuvenate. It's kind of like a bye week that you would have in football. It's kind of like a bye week. And every team has it. It just so happens that the Avalanche have it the week right before the All-Star break. And tonight's game is at home, the last home game before the All-Star break. Avalanche play February 5th. I think that's when they start back up, February 5th. And they play at home against the LA Kings, and that's at 6 o'clock on Pacific time. My time, 7, 8, 9 elsewhere. So just wanted to throw out, I'm supporting them, obviously, because the Broncos are in their off season here. Okay, so to speak. Okay, guys, we have a sad note. Now, I don't know how many people out there are going to recognize this name or remember some of the some of the famous calls, I should say, that this particular person made. Here it is. Longtime Broncos radio broadcaster and Colorado Sports Hall of Fame, Larry Zimmer, passed away last Saturday. He was 88 years young. And the reason why I say 88 years young as opposed to old, and yes, 88 is up there, but 88 years young because the guy was just he was with the Broncos organization for over 50 years, 56 years, I believe. And it's just, somebody like that, I remember listening to him. I remember listening to this long before, Bronco games were on TV all the time and stuff. And I used to listen to him on the radio. I had the shortwave radio my dad bought me when I was a teenager. And he bought me like this shortwave radio. And I remember dialing in, and I'm trying to come across all these different stations in different states. I mean, now anybody can go in and listen to anything anywhere. I'm talking back in the day, guys, back in the day where we really had to hunt and peck to find, what we wanted to listen to. And I remember dialing in and hearing Larry Zimmer in a Broncos game, calling games. And his voice was resonating. And it was energetic. It was enthusiastic type of voice. It was definitely a voice for radio. He had that kind of like a Casey Kasem type voice. Not that same style, but, the one that when you hear it, you're like, oh, I know who that is. That's what Larry Zimmer was to me. And his passing kind of really touched me deeply because I remember, like I said, listening to him. He called the play where Rod Smith caught that Hail Mary pass against the Washington Redskins. Yes, the Washington Redskins. It was that name back then. And caught it in the end zone, double covered for Rod Smith's first ever Bronco touchdown. And John Elway threw that ball, I think, 55, 60 yards in the air or something, and Denver won the game. Larry Zimmer also called the playoff game against the Houston Oilers. Yes, the Houston Oilers back then. Houston Oilers in Denver, where he rolls out and he throws it to, I think he threw it to was one of the Amigos, Vance Johnson. I think it was Vance Johnson. He threw it to Vance Johnson, and Johnson runs down the sideline, gets down to about the 15-yard line, 20-yard line, 25 yards, somewhere around there. And then the Broncos go in and win the game with a field goal, and they move on to the championship game against the Cleveland Browns, which everybody knows we won because we never lost to Cleveland in the playoffs in the championship. So, I mean, Larry Zimmer resonates with me. That's the voice I always remember when I listen to Broncos. Before I was doing the neighborhood with Mundungus Creevy, I was listening to Broncos games. I was out grilling or whatever, and I was listening to them on the radio. And now they got Dave Logan, which I'm not putting down Dave Logan by any stretch of the imagination. But Larry Zimmer, to me, was Broncos voice, Broncos radio, Broncos connection, kind of like Vince Scully in baseball was to the Dodgers or anybody else listening to Vince Scully. He had that way of bringing the game into focus, into your eyes, your mental vision of what was going on. Larry Zimmer, to me, was that guy. Larry, oh my gosh, let me continue. All right. Zimmer broadcast Broncos games on KOA for 26 years and called more than 500 Broncos games, including 20 postseason games. I mentioned the Houston Oilers and 4 Super Bowls. Yes, unfortunately, the 4 Super Bowls that he called, the Broncos lost. But he still called the games, and he still called them with dignity. Absolutely. Denver Broncos organization posted the following, and I quote, "We're saddened by the passing of legendary Broncos radio broadcaster and longtime Broncos Ring of Fame committee member, Larry Zimmer. Since 1971, Larry called some of the franchise's most iconic moments and helped honor some of our greatest legends," end quote. Wow. Absolutely dead on, spot on. Couldn't have said it any better than what the Broncos said. Zimmer is survived by his wife of 51 years, Bridget. Zimmer will receive a military funeral at Fort Logan Cemetery in Denver. No date has been released for that funeral. Man, it hurts to sit there and bring that. It really does. Like I said, I listened to Larry Zimmer, on the radio, and the guy was fantastic. If any of you want to know what it sounded like with Larry Zimmer calling these historic, iconic Broncos plays, go to YouTube, type in Larry Zimmer. I would have put it up here, but probably would have been copyrighted, so didn't do it. But go to YouTube, type in Larry Zimmer, Broncos broadcaster, and listen to some of his calls. Absolutely grips you. It grips you because of his emotion, his passion, and the way he did things. It was absolutely spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. And I hope each and every one of you out there watching, listening, whatever, will go and do that and listen to the legend, the absolute legend in Broncos broadcasting by a man I call one of the greatest Broncos broadcasters in all of my lifetime. Larry Zimmer, you will be missed. Your voice, the way you brought the game into focus, into life for this guy who listened to you back in the day. Larry, thank you so much for everything that you did and everything that you were. And thank you so much for all your hard work as a Denver Bronco broadcaster. Larry, I personally am going to miss that voice. Thank goodness for YouTube. I can go back and watch you and listen to you anytime I want. Larry, rest in peace. All right, guys, let's move on. Kamani says, rest in heaven, Larry Z. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well said. Well said, Kamani. Very, very well said. Okay. Here we go. Now, we all know that coaches are hired and fired. I heard one guy say, when you get into the NFL or any sport and you're a coach, you're hired to be fired. Well, another person is gone. Vic Fangio is no longer the defensive coordinator on the Miami Dolphins. And here's an interesting, weird twist to that. The Miami Dolphin players were actually cheering when they got the news that Fangio's gone. Why? Because Fangio did in Miami what he did in Denver. And he just rides people hard and makes them, do this and this, just kind of grinds them into the ground, like taking a grinding stone and grinding corn, making it into powder or whatever. That's basically what Fangio does to players, and you can't do that. So the Miami Dolphin players were cheering. But Fangio landed another team. Former Broncos head coach and defensive coordinator Vic Fangio has left the Miami Dolphins and has landed with the Philadelphia Eagles as their defensive coordinator. Fangio, 65 years old, is no stranger to Philadelphia. He was born and raised in Dunsmore, Pennsylvania, about 2 hours from the city of Philadelphia. Philadelphia. Therefore, Vic, in essence, is going home. Okay, well, good for him. Good for him. But is he gonna do anything different in Philadelphia with those players that he did in Denver or Miami? I don't think so. Why would he change? A leopard doesn't change his spots. It doesn't. I mean, they may roll around the mud or whatever. And a leopard doesn't change the spots. A zebra doesn't change the stripes. Okay? Vic Fangio is not going to change what Vic Fangio does. And that is ride people hard. Ride them hard and just grind them in the ground. I mean, players in Denver were saying that all the time with Fangio as head coach. You can't do that. I mean, everybody needs a break. You cannot drive a wooden spike. It's just not right. And is it going to change? I don't think so. Are the Philadelphia players going to put up with it? Well, that remains to be seen, because I personally don't think the Philadelphia players are going to stand for that. I don't. But then again, who knows? I mean, I'm not going to come out and say we can't stand the guy. They're not going to do that. So it can be interesting. It will be very interesting. Hang on, guys. All right. I don't want to lose my voice like I did last week. That was strange last week. Sitting there talking to Will, I couldn't figure it out. I had no idea what was going on. Okay. We're talking about coaches. Vic Fangio, former head coach, now defensive coordinator. Here's a coach I did not want to see in the NFL. Well, let me rephrase that. I didn't want to see this particular person in the AFC. And I dang sure did not want to see him in the AFC West. But this is what's happened. Am I talking about Bill Belichick? Nope. Kansas City's covered with their head coach. The Vegas Raiders are covered with their head coach. Denver Broncos are covered with their. That only leaves one team. Is Bill Belichick going to the LA Chargers? Nope. Guess who's going to the Chargers? That's right. I did not want this to happen. Not whatsoever. Why? Because I don't want the Chargers to be good any more than I want the Chiefs or the Raiders to be good. Well, I loved it when the Raiders hired Josh McDaniels. Why? Because I knew he would suck and the Raiders wouldn't be. Well, wait a minute. We lost to the Raiders twice this year. Well, okay, maybe they were. Anyways, I didn't want the Raiders to be good. And they really weren't. So, that being said, who does that leave? Well, do I go to Kamani in the chat and bring up his answer and see if he's correct? Here we go. Kamani. Bing, 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 bing. You are correct, my friend. You are correct. That's the person I didn't want to see come to LA. Why? Because he's a freaking winner. I don't want that. I can't stand the guy. I don't like his attitude. I don't like the way he just parades around and acts like he's, King Kong or king or whatever. No, I don't like that. I don't like it one bit. But apparently it has happened. Here it is. After winning the NCAA National Championship, Jim Harbaugh is leaving the Michigan Wolverines to coach the, oh my gosh, do I have to say it? Wish I could just say the LA Rams, but that's not going to happen. He's leaving Michigan to coach the LA freaking Chargers. Okay. The team has announced that last Wednesday. Okay. Not official from the standpoint that they've introduced him or anything like that, but it's pretty much cemented in concrete. I continue. Harbaugh's deal is for 5 years, but no amount was mentioned as regards to salary. In the 2024 season, this is interesting. In the 2024 season, the Chargers are scheduled to play the Baltimore Ravens. Jim Harbaugh's brother, Jon, is the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. That's going to be interesting. And my thought is this. It doesn't matter when that happens. It can happen early in the season, mid-season, towards the end of the season. It doesn't matter. You know full and doggone well that game is going to be on prime time. It's either going to be a Monday night, it's going to be a Thursday night, it's going to be a Sunday night. You absolutely know without a shadow of a doubt that Jim Harbaugh on the Chargers going against Jon Harbaugh of the Raiders, you absolutely know that game will be prime time. I mean, I don't know when. I wouldn't be surprised. Hey, think about this. Not that I'm getting excited about the Chargers, because I'm not. I really want Baltimore to win this game because I can't stand the Chargers. But anyways, so imagine this. Baltimore's in the playoffs, guys. Baltimore is in the AFC Championship game this coming Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs. If Baltimore wins that game and goes to the Super Bowl, regardless if they win the Super Bowl or they don't, that game between Jon Harbaugh of Baltimore and Jim Harbaugh of the now Chargers is going to be, could possibly, I should say, I don't know, but could possibly be the opening Thursday night game or Monday night game of the new season. Wow. Wouldn't that be crazy? Wouldn't that be crazy? Because, you know, they've met before. In fact, they've actually met in the Super Bowl with Jon Harbaugh of the Ravens beating Jim Harbaugh of the 49ers, which I loved. I absolutely loved it. But that's only happened once. And Jon won that game. Let's hope when these two teams meet up in 2024 that Jon Harbaugh sweeps his brother Jim. I do not want the Chargers to be good, no more than I want the Raiders to be good or the Chiefs to be good. But the Chargers, that's real personal to me, real personal, because of what I deal with out here with all these so-called, you know, bandwagoners is what I call them. You know, I heard from my nephew today, Bobby. He texted me today and said he was talking to one of his coworkers. And his coworker said, "Oh, hey, I heard the Chargers hired Harbaugh. So now I'm back to being a Chargers fan." No, you can't go back to being a fan. Okay, you just can't. You're either a fan or you're not. The word fan is short for fanatic. You don't sit there and just jump on and jump off when you freaking feel like it. That's a trampoline. Okay, that's not a fan. A fan sticks with their team thick and thin, regardless. Just like I mentioned many, many times, guys, you do not turn your back on your kids and then love them one day and can't stand them the next day. Love them one day, can't stand. You don't do that. That's not being supportive. It's not being supportive. And me, as a dedicated 100% Broncos fan and Avalanche fan, I am with them thick and thin. I watched every single game the Broncos played last year, including the 70-20. And if you guys want to see something funny, go back and watch that neighborhood show. Holy smokes, man, that was hilarious. But yeah, it's one game. It's one game. You got to be a fan. I don't care. I don't care if the team moves or not. It's still the same freaking players. Yes, I want Denver to stay in Denver, the Broncos to stay in Denver, and they will. But I'm just saying, if they were to leave, I'd still be a Bronco fan because they're the freaking Broncos, period. All right, I get off that little bandwagon trip right there. Okay, let's see. Kamani says that he's surprised that Harbaugh left Michigan. I am too. And here's the reason why, Kamani. That's a good point. And here's why I'll bring that up. I'm wondering if that's a little bit twofold, and I'll tell you why. Kamani says, he's surprised he left Michigan. Well, the reason why I'm surprised as well is Michigan offered him $110 million. I don't know how many years. Could have been 5 like the Chargers offered. Could have been 10. Doesn't matter. $110 million? Wow. I mean, I'm staying. I'm staying. But here's the reason why I think he left, Kamani. Here's the reason why I think he left. If Michigan Wolverines had not won the national championship against my favorite college team, Washington Huskies, I think he would have stayed. And the reason why I think he would have stayed is because he's after a championship. Hello, he's after a championship. And when he got it in Michigan, remember, this isn't the first year he was the Michigan Wolverines head coach. I think this is like the 4th year. So he didn't win it the first, second, or third year, but he won it this past year. Had he not won that national championship, and I think that was the first championship Michigan won since 1997, something like that. If he had not have won it with that team, I think he would have come back or gone back to Michigan, because that's what he is after, is a championship. And he felt by going to college and going to Michigan, he felt he had a really, really good chance of getting that national championship, which he did. That's why I think, Kamani, he's jumping to the NFL. Why? He wants to do it in the NFL as well. He played for the Chargers. I don't know if you guys remember this or not. Some of you guys, older guys. I'm not saying old. I'm saying more mature guys. You'll remember that he played quarterback for the Chargers. I think it was 2020 and 2021, 2 years. And he was the Chargers quarterback. And he also was the head coach at the University of San Diego, USD. So he has connections with San Diego / Chargers, whether they be in San Diego or LA. So it's only fitting that he would go to the Chargers. But the other thing that made him, in my opinion, go to the Chargers is that guy from Oregon. Yep, that guy. Justin Herbert, that guy. Herbert is an absolute winner in the NFL. I hate to say that, but hey, I got to be honest. He is a really good, solid quarterback. And Harbaugh will thrive. Harbaugh will thrive on that. And that's what scares me the most. That's what scares me the most, is Harbaugh's going to get the best out of Herbert. And Herbert's already good. So if he can get any better, then that's scary for the rest of the AFC West as well as the AFC period. Okay, so let me move on down. Rudy Torres, my brother-in-law from Vegas, says, hey, Bill, bro, Rudy here. Hey, Rudy, nice to have you in the chat. Thanks so much for chiming in. Really do appreciate it. Let's see. Kamani says, I can see a Sunday night. Talking about Chargers and Ravens. Yeah, I can see a Sunday night. I can see that. Yeah, to basically end the week, or it wouldn't be ending the week because you got Monday. So yeah, I can totally see that. I can totally see it. I'm not an undercover Chargers fan, Kamani. Kamani says, I told y'all he's an undercover Chargers fan. I am not an undercover Chargers fan. No, I'm not. Not. I know Madungus Creevy has a whole fun issue with that, but nope, not the case. Kamani, you say that means the Broncos front offices of the teams have got to step it up against the Chargers. Well, I mean, we have Sean Payton, and this is going to be the first time in quite a while, guys, that the Denver Broncos are going to go into the offseason, which they're already in, and the draft with a head coach that they feel confident in having and moving forward, and that's Sean Payton. So I'm not really too concerned about the stepping it up, so to speak. I think Sean Payton's going to do well in the draft. I just really haven't heard any news as far as Russell Wilson, where he's going. There's a lot of chatter and rumors that he could go to the Raiders. He could go to Minnesota, which I thought would be a surprise. Just different things I'm hearing, but nothing concrete. So I really don't know what the Broncos are going to do at quarterback. They definitely have to do something. We signed Stidham to another year, so I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there, but I do know that the Broncos will do what the Broncos have to do to step it up. I just don't think they really have to step it up against the Chargers. Chargers are Chargers. Don't matter who their freaking head coach is. Remember, they had Marty Schottenheimer back in the day, and at the time, there was a 16-game season or 14-game season, something like that. Anyways, Schottenheimer, I think, was like 14-2, and they fired him. 14-2, and they fired him. You never know. Chargers, they just do weird, stupid things. All right. Let's see. Kamani. Yes, Kamani. Kamani says, man, for a real, $110 million. Yes. Harbaugh was offered $110 million by Michigan Wolverines brass, and yet he turned it down. And again, I think, Kamani, it doesn't have anything to do with the money. He's going to get paid in LA. I think it's because he's chasing that second championship. He wants one in college, and he wants one in the NFL. And I can't, you know what? I cannot think. Now that I think, I don't think that there's ever been a head coach in the NFL that has won an NCAA championship and an NFL Super Bowl championship as head coach. I don't know. I can't think of anybody who's done that. Can you guys out there in the chat help me out? You guys, anybody out there know if that's happened, where a head coach in the NFL has won a Super Bowl as well as an NCAA championship? No, I mean, I can't think of one. Lou Saban? No, he was with Miami. He didn't win nothing. I don't know. I don't think there ever has been. And I think that's what Harbaugh is chasing. He's chasing that second championship he could put on his fireplace mantle and say, hey, I'm the first one that's ever done that. Can't fault the guy. You can't fault the guy. I just wish he would not have come to LA. That's what I'm wishing would not have happened. It happened. Okay, so be it. I got to live with it. Not that I like it. Not that I want to live with it. But I have to. All right. Let's see. Kamani said Nick Saban should have come back to the NFL. I mentioned that a little bit earlier because I didn't know if maybe he won a championship in the NFL, but no, he didn't. I don't know. I would have rather had Saban on the Chargers than Harbaugh. Much better than Harbaugh. I just Harbaugh's a winner, and that bothers me. I just don't want it. Just don't want it. Kamani said did Barry Switzer win an NCAA championship? And I know Barry Switzer was the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, did the Cowboys win that Super Bowl or win a Super Bowl? Was Barry Switzer the head coach? I think you might be right there, Kamani. I think you may be right. But who did Barry Switzer coach in the NCAA? Who did he coach? Barry Switzer. That wasn't Ohio State, was it? Who was that? What team? Jimmy Johnson, was that another one, Kamani, that won an NCAA? I don't think so. I don't think Jimmy Johnson won an NCAA championship. I'd have to look all this stuff up. But it was just interesting that's what I thought. Miami, are you talking Miami Hurricanes? Kamani, Miami Hurricanes for Barry Switzer? No, Barry Switzer didn't. Did Barry Switzer coach Miami Hurricanes? Huh. Okay. Well, I'm trying to follow you, Kamani, which direction you're going, but I don't know. I'll tell you what. I would like to look that up. I'm not going to do it right now, but I'd like to look that up and just see if that's ever happened before. I think I'll do that. Off air, look it up, and then I'll see, and hopefully I'll bring it into my next Friday show. I'll make a little note of that. Okay. All right. Good. Jon Gruden. Speaking of head coaches, speaking of winning Super Bowl head coaches, Jon Gruden, if you remember, he won a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay. Well, he's had issues, as we all know, with emails and things of that nature. And so basically, Goodell has kind of pushed him off to the side, doesn't want him back in the NFL. Well, Jon Gruden may be coming back as a coach in the NFL. Former Vegas head coach Jon Gruden remains a candidate in New Orleans as the Saints are searching for a new head coach, offensive coordinator. ESPN's Catherine Terrell asked general manager Mickey Loomis about the experienced coach in Gruden. Loomis responded, and I quote, "I don't want to talk about a specific candidate for that particular role," end quote. Okay. Are you saying you don't want to release the name? Or is Loomis saying, you know what, I don't really want to get into it right now because we haven't finalized a whole lot of things and whatnot? Or is Loomis saying, you know what, I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to get into that mess of Jon Gruden's past with the emails and the harassment or whatever happened in the emails? Maybe that's the reason he doesn't want to talk about it. Is it because he's going to hire him as offensive coordinator? I don't know. It's interesting, though, that Jon Gruden's name comes up as a possible candidate for the position of offensive coordinator on the New Orleans Saints. I continue. One has to wonder if it's worth the hassle of hiring Gruden, given the baggage he would inevitably bring from the past. Absolutely. You know, once it's out there, especially in social media, especially on the internet, once anything is out there, it never goes away. Never. You can go on YouTube, you can go on Twitter, you can go on Twitch, you can go on TikTok, you can go anywhere you want, Facebook, whatever, and go back in years and look. And if somebody posted something and they didn't take it down, it is there for life. Even if somebody takes it down, if somebody captured it, it's there. If somebody captured it on their phone, their laptop, their computer, their tablet, whatever they captured it on, it is there. Absolutely there. And if they want to repost it, guess what, guys? It doesn't go away. And neither is Jon Gruden's past with those emails going away. You know, to his buddy Snyder in Washington Redskins, yes, it was the Redskins. And with those emails and such, well, John Snyder had to sell the team. Jon Gruden was basically ousted out of football. Then he became the head coach of the Vegas. Was Jon Gruden was Vegas, and then now it looks like he could be back. But would the New Orleans Saints take that risk of all the past baggage that Gruden would bring? Would it be worth all the distractions, all the chatter, all the noise, all the media surrounding him? Would it? But also remember this, Jon Gruden, he's been out of football for over a year and a half. So, you know, did the game pass him by? Has the game gotten too advanced for the Jon Gruden of old school? I don't know. Would New Orleans be that desperate to take a Jon Gruden who has all this baggage, hasn't been in the league as a coach for over a year and a half? Would it be prosperous to take that challenge, take that risk? I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't do it. I personally wouldn't do it, but I'm not a general manager of New Orleans Saints, so I have no idea. Oh, that's a good one, Kamani. Pete Carroll with USC and Seattle Seahawks. Okay. All right. I completely forgot about Pete Carroll. That's a good one. I bet you that one's true. In fact, I would bet my bottom dollar on that you nailed it with Pete Carroll and USC and Seattle Seahawks. That was a good one. All right. Kamani said Jimmy Johnson with Dallas and Miami and Barry Switzer with Miami and Dallas. And if Jim Harbaugh wins, he will be the fourth coach in history to win a Super Bowl and a college championship. That's why I got you guys in the chat. You guys school me. You guys bring me up to speed. You guys keep me honest, and I was being honest. I didn't know. I completely forgot about Pete Carroll and Jimmy Johnson, Barry Switzer. I completely forgot about them. But yeah, that was that. Thanks, Kamani, for bringing that up. That was absolutely fantastic. You nailed it, buddy. Like always, you guys in the chat always come through, and keep this guy honest. And if I don't know something, I'm not going to sit there and fake it. That's not what I do on this show. I don't sit there and go, oh yeah, I know. I don't fake nothing. You guys know, you guys out there who've watched this show long enough, I'm not a guy out there to BS you. I'm not going to try and pull the wool over your eyes. You guys are way too smart for that. I'll admit, I don't know. I know you guys out there do. And that's what I really, really do appreciate. All right, guys, let's move on. The topic of the show is, should Josh Allen be a Bronco? Well, underneath my name, it says, what if the Broncos drafted Allen and not Chubb? Here it is, guys. The topic of the show. What if? What if Josh Allen was a Denver Bronco? After moving on from Trevor Siemian and Paxton Lynch in 2017, the Denver Broncos went into the 2018 offseason in need of a quarterback. Yep, they're in need of a quarterback. What's John Elway do? Okay, you guys got to remember, this is 2017. John Elway was the general manager of the Denver Broncos. I love John Elway as a player, not so much as general manager. Here we go. Then general manager John Elway signed Case Keenum in March of that year, 2018. In April, very next month, the Denver Broncos held the 5th spot in the NFL draft, and they selected Josh Allen. Oh, no. Wait a minute. They didn't select Josh Allen. He was right there. I'm screaming at the radio. I'm listening to the draft that year. I'll never forget it. I'm listening to the draft, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Josh Allen is there. He's there at number 5. Oh, I know Denver's going to take him. I can't wait. Oh my gosh, I was so excited. Standing just giddy as a little kid at Christmas time. And then the Grinch showed up. The Grinch showed up in the form of John Elway. Who'd the Broncos take at the 5th draft pick, draft spot? They selected Josh Allen? No, they didn't. They selected Bradley Chubb. Are you freaking kidding? I felt like somebody had stabbed me in the stomach. I was sickened. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? We need a freaking quarterback. Case Keenum is not the answer. He's a Band-Aid. And Josh Allen is sitting there at number 5. And John Elway goes, nah, it's not my type. It's not tall enough. He doesn't have this. He doesn't have it. John Elway was trying to find a carbon copy, a clone of himself, and he failed every single time. Why? Because there's only one John Elway. There's only one Patrick Mahomes. There's only one Tom Brady. There's only one Peyton Manning. You don't duplicate because you can't. You can get close maybe, but you can't duplicate because nobody is a clone of themselves. It doesn't happen. And John Elway stared right in the camera, gave his selection to Roger Goodell, and the Broncos chose Bradley Chubb. And I almost threw up because I knew we were doomed. Let me continue. 2 picks later, Allen went to the Buffalo Bills. Yep. That same Buffalo Bills team that's gone to the playoffs in multiple years. Multiple years since. All right. In hindsight, not drafting Allen was a terrible decision, according to Chris Harris. Now, Chris Harris used to be on the Broncos, okay? And he's now in the Chargers. No, Chris Harris is out of football now, I think. I think he retired. So anyways, Chris Harris still stunned. Even to this day, he's still stunned. Let me continue. Harris said, and I quote, that Josh Allen pass up is still hurting the Broncos to this day. When we had Shaq Barrett and Von Miller, Elway chose Bradley Chubb, end quote. Absolute, total disaster. Absolutely, totally disastrous. Absolutely. A franchise quarterback is sitting at number 5. And the Broncos don't take him. They take Bradley Chubb. Well, that worked out well, didn't it? That worked out tremendously. Josh Allen goes to playoffs. Josh Allen has great seasons. Well, if it wasn't for the wide right against Kansas City last week, Josh Allen has played phenomenally. Yes, he's had his ups and downs. Every quarterback does. I mean, Peyton Manning had ups and downs. Elway's up and down. Tom Brady, same way. Patrick Mahomes, same way. I mean, they go through spurts. But overall, they're a fantastic quarterback. Bradley Chubb, where's he at? Not in Denver. Not in Denver. Oh, by the way, Josh Allen is still in Buffalo. Bradley Chubb on Denver? Nope. He's gone. Bradley Chubb's in Miami. Not here. Josh Allen, still in Buffalo. Let me continue. One person tweeted, and I quote, Allen wouldn't have been Josh Allen if Denver had drafted him, end quote. Chris Harris responded with this, and I quote, he would have been better, end quote. I'm not so sure, Chris. I'm not so sure that Josh Allen would be better. Here's why I say that, okay? Not because I don't think Josh Allen's a good quarterback. I think he's a great quarterback. I absolutely do. But you have to remember who our head coaches were in 2017, 18, 19, 20, and so forth, okay? When he was drafted in 2017? Yeah, 2017. So we're talking 6 years ago. Well, actually 7 years ago now. So in 2017, we had head coaches like Vic Fangio. We had Vance Joseph. We had Nathaniel Hackett last year or 2 years ago. So you see, I'm not too sure, Chris, and I respect you, Chris Harris. I really do. I respect you. I respect your knowledge of football. Obviously, you played it at a very high level, at the highest level. But I'm talking about whether or not Josh Allen would be better if he were to be drafted by the Broncos then than when he was drafted by Buffalo. And I'm not saying I wouldn't want a Josh Allen on the team. Absolutely, I would. Absolutely. I just don't know if he would have been better now than he is in Buffalo. Would he have been better in Denver? I'm not so sure. Not with the Vic Fangio, not with the Vance Joseph, not with our offensive coordinators when we had them, not with Nathaniel Hackett. That's for dang sure. I mean, look what he did to Russell Wilson. No, Josh Allen would not be better on the Denver Broncos through that span than he was and is with the Buffalo Bills, because it's different. Head coaches can make or break a quarterback. Absolutely make or break a quarterback. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Look at Russell Wilson. He was pathetic with Nathaniel Hackett. He wasn't much better with Sean Payton, but we were 4 games better, or 3 games. Well, we should have been 4, should have been 5. We were 3 games better. I mean, yeah, there were some moments, but I'm not going to get back. I'm not going to go down that road again where I said that I think and feel that Sean Payton undermined Russell Wilson. I'm not going to do that. I already went down that road. You guys already know what I think about that. I'm just saying, do I think Josh Allen would be better on the Broncos through that stretch than he was with Buffalo Bills? I honestly can't say he would be. I honestly can't say he would be. Does that mean that I would not have wanted him to be drafted? Absolutely not. Of course it doesn't mean that. I would love to have Josh Allen on the team with Sean Payton now. But would Josh Allen have been ruined by that time? And would he have been shipped off because he was considered, he was considered damaged goods or whatever, or couldn't do this or couldn't do that? Would that be the reason? Possibly. But if we had Sean Payton as our head coach when we had that draft back in 2017, and the Broncos would have taken Josh Allen, I absolutely think and feel he would have been much better than he is now. And the Broncos probably would have been most likely back in the Super Bowls. But that didn't happen. The Broncos did not select Josh Allen. Instead, Elway went with Bradley Chubb, even though we had Shaquille Barrett and Von Miller. What an absolute mistake. And it's still, like Chris Harris said, it's still haunting the Broncos to this day. Why? Because we don't have that franchise quarterback we could have had if Elway would have put his selfishness aside and drafted a Josh Allen when Allen is sitting in his lap and didn't take it. And oh, by the way, guys, Josh Allen to this day still has a chip on his shoulder. Every single time the Broncos play the Bills, he has a chip on his shoulder that he wants to prove to all of Denver, and especially John Elway and the organization. Now, I mean, I know Pat Bowlen is the Pat Bowlen family doesn't own the team anymore and stuff. It doesn't matter. Josh Allen still has a chip on his shoulder to beat the Broncos and prove that they should have drafted him. Josh Allen wanted to come to Denver. Absolutely wanted to come to Denver. But because the Broncos didn't draft him, he has that chip on his shoulder. So that's why he has that edge that every single time. Golly, answer the phone. Ah, good gosh. Sorry, guys. It's just freaking frustrating. So yeah, that's why the Josh Allen has that chip, because he really wanted to play for the Denver Broncos, and Elway didn't give him that chance. What an absolute shame. I don't know. I don't know. And right now we're sitting at 12 in the draft, guys. We're sitting at 12. I don't know if we're taking a quarterback. Man, you got a Josh Allen and you're sitting at number 5. I don't know what Elway is thinking. Absolutely do not know what Elway is thinking. I love the guy tremendously. Love John Elway tremendously. If you look back here, right back up there is a poster. There's a name Elway right there. Right below it is some players from the Super Bowl 32. Another plaque right here. John Elway's plaque right there. So, and then up here, let me go back this way. So up here, that's myself and John Elway right there. A picture I took at the Celebrity Golf Classic. So, yeah, and I got John Elway's jersey, 2 of them. Or was it 1? No, I got 2 of them, a blue one and an old school white one. And love the guy as a player, not as a general manager, not as GM. Kamani agrees with me. Kamani says Elway sucked as a GM. Absolutely, he did. He drafted with his heart, not with his head. You can't do that. You cannot do that. I don't care what sport you're in. You can't do that. You have to play with your head. You have to be smart with your head. As much as it may hurt, you have to go with your head and not your heart. Kamani, I didn't want to answer the phone. I know who it is. I didn't want to answer it. My wife's in the other room. I thought for sure she'd answer on the first or second ring. Nope. Just let it ring. But hey, at least you guys know I got a house phone. The only reason why I have a house phone is because I have a mother-in-law who, she's 95 years old. She doesn't really, she's not technologically savvy by any stretch of the imagination. So if we just had cell phones, she wouldn't really know what to do. So then she'd be looking for a cell phone and somebody comes. So it's just much easier to have a house phone, as much as I don't like it, but it's much, much easier. Much easier. All right, guys, I got 2 more topics to go. And then we're going to wrap this show up. You guys have been phenomenal. Thanks so much for always watching, listening on your busy Friday nights, wherever you may be. I really do appreciate the fact that you take out, a little bit of time on your Friday evening to engage in the show, listen to the show, comment in the chat, and just for your support. Really do appreciate it. All right, next to the last topic, and here it is. The Denver Broncos hold the 12th draft pick, and George Payton feels he knows what head coach Sean Payton wants in a prospect. Going back to the Elway thing that we've talked about, and that is, you've got to find out what your head coach wants. You have to find out what your head coach. And I think Elway's ego and I think Elway's control got the best of him. I really do. I think it really got the best of him. And when it was the trust, or even when Pat Bowlen was still alive and around, and maybe coherent enough for what he was dealing with, his Alzheimer's and whatnot, that he knew what was going on, he put a lot of faith and trust in John Elway. Well, you can't always do that. You gotta have it like a team, But here it says that George Payton, he knows what Sean Payton wants. Well, that's because they've been talking. They've been talking and they know what they want. Let me continue. George Payton, that is. George Payton said, I know what Sean wants in a quarterback. A quarterback is a little difficult, but I know what Sean's looking for in that position. But we'll have to see. We know exactly what he wants at each position, both offense and defense. We feel like we have a head start going into this offseason, end quote. Reason why they got a head start is because they don't have to look for a head coach like they did last year. The Broncos had to look for a head coach after firing Hackett. They had to. They had no choice. And before that, it was a disaster with Vance Joseph. Before that, it was Vic Fangio, and on and on and on. It's been a disaster. Not so this year. Sean Payton's in place. The whole Russell Wilson thing is probably dissolved and moving on, and all that it has a foundation. For the first time in a long time, we have a foundation that we know what direction we want to go into. Does that mean drafting a quarterback? Sure, hope so. I absolutely hope so. And I've said this in many, many shows previous, guys. Let's hang on to a Russell Wilson. I know before you get into saying all this stuff in the chat and throwing barbs and stuff at me and whatnot, it's all good. Fire away. I can take it. Reason why I say keep Russell Wilson at least another year if you draft a quarterback is because of this. Russell Wilson is going to get paid one way or another. Do you want Russell Wilson to walk and go to another team and you got to pay him to be on another team? Well, if you're going to pay him anyways, pay him to stay on our team. Be the quarterback. Fight it out with the rookie and see if he can beat out a rookie to be the starting quarterback. And I know people have said, well, if you're going to draft a quarterback in the first round, he's automatically the starter. Not so much. Not so much. I don't buy that. Why is he automatically got a ticket to the head of the class, the front of the bus? That riding shotgun. Why is all of a sudden he is the leader? He hasn't proven anything. Well, he was great in college, and I don't give a crap what he did in college. That's like saying, well, you know what? I was really good in high school. I was all straight A's. Does that mean you're going to be great in college? No, it doesn't. Doesn't mean a hill of beans. You have to prove yourself at every freaking level. Just because you're good in college. Look at Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow, I love that guy. I absolutely love Tim Tebow. He was fantastic in college. Not so much in the pros. Yeah, he had some great fourth quarter games, which I absolutely loved watching. They were fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I love it, love it, love it. But he's not a consistent winner because the NFL is different than college. Okay? It's different. So that you should not automatically get a front row seat, so to speak, or be given the reins to the city and a freaking, starting position at quarterback when you haven't done anything. Well, we played in preseason, guy was pretty good. Okay, fine. You're going to beat out a veteran? Well, then you better be darn freaking good. You better be another Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady. I just don't see it. Tom Brady, I know he was drafted in the 6th round, and no, he didn't start right away because Drew Bledsoe was there. I get it. But once Bledsoe got hurt and Tom Brady came in, guess what? Bam. But he learned behind Bledsoe. He learned behind a established quarterback. Why cannot a quarterback that the Broncos draft at number 12, why can't he learn behind Russell Wilson? Well, he can't if Russell Wilson's gone. That's why I say don't get rid of Russell Wilson. Hang on. You're going to pay him anyways. Pay him to stay in Denver. Don't pay him to go to the Raiders or the Vikings or anywhere else. Don't pay him when he's on somebody else's team. That It's absolutely foolish, in my opinion. All right. Okay, going back to what Kamani was saying about Elway and the GM. Says the almighty Elway, I agree, great player, sucks as a GM, out of his league as a GM. Yep. Thanks, Elway. You're the greatest. Laugh, laugh, laugh. Now I'm angry. Oh, well, Kamani, I didn't mean to make you angry. Didn't mean to make you angry, Kamani. I'm just trying to say that, Elway was a great quarterback, fantastic quarterback. Not so much as a GM. Well, it's like a lot of things. You can be really good as an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator. Look at Wade Phillips. Wade Phillips on the Broncos in that Super Bowl 50 was fantastic. Absolutely. That whole season with Wade Phillips as the Broncos defensive coordinator was amazing. That Bronco defense was absolutely shut down solid all the way around. But when Wade Phillips was a head coach, he was not so good. Not so good at all. It's a different level, a different ball game. Some people were fantastic as head coach. Mike Shanahan, Gary Kubiak. I mean, you go down the list. I mean, look at Bill Belichick. As much as I want to say it, fantastic coach. Some coach. Look at going in comparison again. Look at God, mind it escapes me again. Can't think. Oh, Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels, offensive coordinator, Patriots, fantastic offensive coordinator. Broncos head coach, nope. Raiders head coach, nope. Here you go. I mean, some people are great at one thing and not in another, and that's John Elway. Great as a head coach, great as a quarterback, not as general manager. Absolutely not as general manager. Wait a minute. What after Kamani says after your show, it is PTP time. PTP. What's PTP? Tell me. Kamani, I gotta know. Now you got me thinking. PTP. No. I can't. You got to spell it out, dude. You got to spell it, because now you got me wondering. Anybody out there that knows what PTP is, let me know. Okay, because now my mind's in. Oh, pie. Oh, stop it, Kamani. Okay, that goes back to one of the neighborhood shows. No, I'm not going down that road. No, I can't do it, Kamani. I can't do it. I know where you're going. No, but I can't do it. Clayton Haran in the house. Clayton says, hey, Bill. I say, hey, Clayton. As always, Clayton follows up by saying, smash that like button and share, guys. Absolutely agree. Guys, hit that thumbs up button. It lets everybody out there know that you like the show. It costs you nothing, but it does help out this show, the network, and really, really do appreciate it, guys. Just take that split second, go click, and it really, really does help out. Really do appreciate it. Thanks again, Clayton. Really, really appreciate it. Okay, I know, Kamani, it was a joke. I know it was a joke. Hey, I can roll with it. I can totally roll with stuff, dude. I can totally roll with it. But no, you did catch me off guard, though, man. That was a good one. Oh, Clayton, what's up, man? Kamani says, bro, Clayton, how you doing? And then Clayton follows up by saying, not so good. Okay, got a bad cold, flu, bad body aches. Oh, man. You know what? Clayton, Madungus Creevy had that last week or a week and a half ago, so he wasn't feeling good. And it's going around. It really is going around. I just hope you feel better. I hope everybody out there stays warm, safe. I know wherever you guys are living, weather is crazy. Coming up here this next Thursday, it's going to be absolutely a downpour in Southern California. We're expecting 7 straight days of rain, and it's called the Alaskan Pipeline. It's also called, other people call it the what's it called? Atmospheric river. And the reason why they call it the atmospheric river is it just literally comes down like from, okay, here's Alaska, let's say, and it's coming down like this towards Southern California. It's just rushing right straight through, and nothing is stopping it. I mean, we're going to have we're starting a little heat wave here in the next several days. That heat is going to move towards the Four Corners. That's going to pull in that atmospheric river, and it's going to be a gully washer. It's going to be, so hey, wherever you guys are, stay safe, stay warm, stay healthy. Really do want to see each and every one of you back here. I'm not being selfish. Seriously, I'm not. I mean, I know you guys, have your own things to do, and I just appreciate you guys jumping in whenever you can, watching live, listening live, or listening, after it's recorded, watching whatever. Really do appreciate it, though. But I want you guys to stay safe. Love seeing you guys when you pop in the chat, and just want to know each and every one of you is staying warm and safe, regardless of the temperature outside. Clayton Aron says in Wisconsin, Clayton said Wisconsin is 40 degrees and rain. Man, it's been a weird, brutal winter, man. Look at the East Coast. My oldest sister lives in New Jersey. My younger sister lives in Georgia, upstate Northeast Georgia. And they've just been inundated with rain and cold. And my sister sent me a picture the other day. It says 13 degrees. She's never experienced stuff like that because our family was all born and raised in Southern California. She's not experimenting. She's experiencing it now. And I just told her, whatever you do, you're retired. You don't have to go anywhere. Just stay in the house, stay warm, and just enjoy the fact that, you're gonna get by. Just suck it up, enjoy it. Light a fire and watch the deer outside. It's all good, man. All good. All right, guys. I'm gonna get into the last topic of this show, and I gotta wrap it up with this. And you got it, guys. That's right. That's true. The jackass of the week. All right, guys. Jackass of the week. Do these guys ever learn? These guys never learn. I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. Whether it's performance enhancing drugs, whether it's, domestic abuse, whether it's whatever it is, these guys don't learn. And I had one of my coworkers at the golf course. I was talking to him about, he's a retired police officer. He works at the golf course. And I said, what is up with these guys? Why do these guys keep doing this? Are they that stupid? I mean, don't they get it? And his answer was, and it was very, very dead on. He says, you give young kids in their 20s, early 20s, that kind of money or that kind of fame, whether or not they're in the pros or they're in college, doesn't matter. You give them that kind of fame, that kind of money if they're in the NFL, and they think they're invincible. They absolutely think they're invincible. And I remember when I was in my 20s, I did stupid stuff, not like this. I mean, wasn't put in this position to be able to do it. But the thing of it is you gotta be smart. You gotta use your head. You gotta look down the road of your life and say, okay, if I do this, is this gonna ruin my career? Is this gonna hinder my opportunity to get in the NFL or get in the NBA or get into the Major League Baseball or hockey, whatever? Is it gonna hinder? Is it gonna keep me from doing it because I made this wrong choice? Or am I just that good? I can get away with it. I can do it. It's okay, man. Don't worry about it. No, it's not. Especially when it comes to the NFL. When it comes to the NFL, Roger Goodell and the NFL brass are putting their foot down. And here is another example of what you don't do if you're trying to get in the NFL and stay in the NFL. Here it is. Jackass of the week. Patriots, Keyshawn, I'm going to say Boot, B-O-U-T-T-E. I'm going to say Boot. Okay? New England Patriots rookie, Keyshawn Boot, was arrested last Thursday after allegedly betting, that's a no-no, allegedly betting on thousands, a handful? No. Hundreds? Thousands of games while underage. That's also illegal, including several LSU games during his time on the team. Hello? Are you that freaking stupid? Really? Number one, you're underage. Number two, you're betting underage. That's the second strike. 3, you're betting on your own team that you're playing on. Really? And you don't think you're going to get caught. You know, criminals are pretty stupid. They really are pretty stupid. I mean, come on. Seriously? You think that's okay? Well, I need the money. I'm in college, and college, it costs money, and my dorm, I ain't got, my parents don't have that much money. Okay, that's all well and good. That doesn't mean you go out and do something illegal. Seriously. Man, I'm only betting. It's my money. It ain't hurting anybody. Come on. I'm not hurting anybody. Just trying to make a living, make a little extra cash. Okay. And how is it not hurting anybody? It hurt yourself. That's somebody. It hurt the team. That's somebody. And that's a whole bunch of somebodies. It hurt the organization or the college because it affected them, LSU. How about it affected your teammates? How about it affected your family? How about it affected your career? Remember, you're on the Patriots now. And this is all coming out. Why? Because Roger Goodell and the NFL don't put up with this. They've said it many, many times. Well, of course, he did it long before he came in the NFL. Doesn't make it right. Remember, whatever you do in the past can and will be looked up. Absolutely, especially with today's technology. You cannot get away with anything. Well, that's your OJ Simpson, but we're not going down that road. You can't do it. It's going to be found out. Let me continue. Okay. Boot, 21 now, was arrested and booked into the East Baton Rouge Parish Jail and charged with felony computer fraud, okay, and a misdemeanor count for gaming prohibited by persons under the age of 21. That's a misdemeanor, okay? But the other one is a felony computer fraud, okay? Here's where the fraud comes in. Let me continue. According to the Louisiana State Police, Boot was 20 at the time, used an alias. There's the fraud. Used an alias to place over, well, he said he bet thousands. How many thousands do you think bet? Maybe 1,500? 2,000. I mean, that's pushing it. 2,000, that's quite a bit. No. Booth was 20 at the time, used an alias to place over 8,900 wagers, including 17 bets placed on college football games from April 2022 to May 2023. Of those games, at least 6 were bet on the Louisiana State University football team. Wow. And this guy gets drafted in the NFL. Obviously, nobody knew about it then, but they've known about it now. And guess what? I doubt seriously if this guy is going to be playing in 2024. He may not be playing in the NFL ever again. Ever. And he's a rookie, which means he threw it all away. Why? Why would he do that? Well, maybe I didn't think I was going to make it to the NFL. That's stupid anyways. You still were wrong. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you made it to the NFL or not. You still did. You still had a felony computer fraud charge. Doesn't matter if you're in the NFL or you're not. Doesn't matter. You could be a businessman somewhere. You could be flipping birds. Doesn't matter. What you did was a felony, and it's wrong. It's only because you went in the NFL that it was found out like this, because the NFL does background checks and they do things. They want to make sure that they maintain the integrity of the NFL, and that includes players. Absolutely includes players, coaches, organizations, whatever. Look at Daniel Snyder. he was kicked out and forced to sell the Washington Commanders because of what he did. Jon Gruden was kicked out of football for a while, or at least off Washington, for what he did. It comes back. Why? Because the NFL does not want to tarnish their reputation. So they're not going to allow stuff like this to happen. This guy, not thinking as a 20-year-old college student, is probably not going to be in the NFL anymore. Why? Because he was foolish. He did the wrong thing. Not once. 8,900 plus times. That's what. Not 100. Not even 1,000. Not even 4,000. He doubled that. 8,900 plus bets. And 6 of them on LSU football team he was playing on at the time. Okay. Let me continue. Additional charges. Now, the Baton Rouge Police Department have said additional charges may still be handed down once the entire investigation is done. Wow. This is not just an NFL issue. This is not just a college issue. This is a crime issue. Absolutely criminal issue. Because he was underage. He did on his computer a felony computer fraud, changing his name to an alias. Okay, let me ask you guys a question. If you're not doing anything wrong, if you're doing everything correctly and you're not doing anything wrong, why in heaven's name would you change your name and make it an alias? You only make an alias when you don't want to get caught. Period. No two ways about it. So he knew what he was doing was wrong. If he'd have done it one time, I said, okay, you made a mistake. 8,900 plus times and betting on your own team while you're playing on them? If this guy plays in the NFL ever again, the NFL, in my opinion, needs to be held accountable because this guy should never play in the NFL ever again. I know that's just my opinion, guys. I know it's my opinion. Think about it. It's a felony. It's a crime. And if he did it 8,900 plus times, what's to say he wouldn't do it 8,901 times or 9,000 times? What's to say he wouldn't? You cannot let things like this go, guys. Absolutely cannot let it go. And yes, I know it sounds harsh, but if the rules are in place for a reason, we may not like them. I got rules at the golf course I work at I don't like. Doesn't mean that I can just break them. No, I can't. Management sets them up. I just have to abide by them. Might not like it, but I have to abide by it. Well, you got to do that in the NFL. NFL is like it owns the football. It owns the National Football League. Okay, they have set guidelines and rules that you can and cannot do. Sure, this guy was not in the NFL when he did that, but he was in college football. He knew the rules. He knew right from wrong. Otherwise, he would not have had an alias. He would have kept his name. Hey, I'm not doing anything wrong. Just put my name out there. It's all good. No, it's not. No, it's not. I hate to end the show, guys, on a jackass of the week, but I didn't want to fit it in there with all the other stuff that was going on. I thought I'd throw it at the end. I'll tell you guys, sometimes these guys just don't learn. They absolutely don't learn. And then they sit back and wonder, where'd I go wrong? What do you mean, where'd you go wrong? It's just, I don't get it. I absolutely don't get it. Other than the fact, like my coworker stated, first off, criminals are not very smart. And second of all, they think they're invincible. You give them a ton of money at such a young age, and they really don't know what to do. And they 9 times out of 10, they get in with the wrong crowd. They get in with the wrong people, tell them things, and they do the wrong thing. And things like this happen. Careers are ended because of drastic, wrong decision. Just not making the right choice. Not making the right choice. Hey, a new person in the house. What's up? Ike Finette 404. He goes, how are you? I'm doing fine, man. How you doing? Really do appreciate you being in the chat. Thanks so much. Muhammad Badri says, hello, Bill. I say, Muhammad Badri, what is up? What is happening? Nice to have you in the chat as well. Really do appreciate it. All you guys have been fantastic. Like I said, I really appreciate you guys being in the chat, taking an hour and 20 minutes tonight to listen to my rant and rage, when it comes to the show. I just bring out my emotions, my passion. That's the kind of guy I am, and I always will be, always have, always will be. Thanks, guys, so much for taking a short time out of your Friday evening, wherever you may be, whatever you may be doing. I really do appreciate it. You guys, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend coming up. Wherever you are, stay dry, stay warm, stay safe. And guys, until next Friday, we have shows throughout the entire week, Monday through Friday. You guys have a wonderful, fantastic weekend. And come next Friday, I will be right back here, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Wherever you are, you'll find me on the MHRT Network and Broncos Breakdown. You guys are the best. I'm going to go down the list and thank each and every one of you for being in the chat like I always do. If it's not for you guys in the chat, this show would never be as good as it is. You guys are the backbone, and I acknowledge that, and I appreciate you guys each and every week. Kamani Dixon, batting leadoff. Thank you so much for being in the chat. Kamani, my brother-in-law, Rudy Torres from Vegas. We've got, who else is done? We got Clayton Huron, as always, saying smash that like button and tell your friends. Really do appreciate it. Thank you so much, Clayton. And then we have Muhammad Badri. Thank you, Muhammad, for being in. And then Ike Finette 404. Thank you as well for being in the chat. You guys, once again, I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for your comments and for your interaction with the show. It means tremendous amount to myself, to the network, and to everybody else associated with this network. Thanks again, guys, so much. Until next Friday, you guys have a wonderful, fantastic weekend. I will see you next Friday. We jump into February. Next week is February is around the corner. I will see you the first Friday of February. Till then, guys, take care. Bye-bye.
Fast lane when I pass in the street, bag of money in the passenger seat. Tempo's been asking for me on the road from the west to the east. Way up, I might never come down, cause the coast's racking up the flame out.